What was your question?
What type of rocks are seismic plates made out of, and how can they be so elastic?
What type of rock are seismic plates made out of? Okay, well, the answer to that is they can be made out of any rock. Where you're going to get seismic activity is where you have a crack in the crust. That crack is called a fault. So a fault is anywhere that you have a break, and as energy is released through, as tectonic energy is released, that's where it's released on. That's the slipping of that fault. If you go out west, what's the most famous fault? San Andreas Fault, right? San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault runs from in Alaska area down, and then it actually gets on the land in California through San Francisco, and then it runs down and it terminates in this really weird triple junction down in Southern California. But the San Andreas Fault is not just one crack in the ground. The San Andreas Fault is this huge swath of thousands and thousands of faults that make up the San Andreas Fault. And then as you go all the way into Nevada and New Mexico, there's another swath of faults that's much, much wider and much more diffuse, with hundreds of thousands of faults that are all still part of the San Andreas system. That is the system of interaction between the Pacific plate and the North American plate, where the Pacific plate is spinning, right? And all that energy is being released in the form of fault slippage in the San Andreas and this other fault system. So what keeps, so to answer your question, the rocks in a fault can be anything. What keeps them elastic is typically the pressure associated with them. If it didn't have such a high pressure on them, then it would be more of a immediate brittle break. But you have this deformation elastically, and then it pops and snaps back into shape.